The reason why Jeremy is so different from other politicians in Westminster is because he really does respect everybody, and he engages in conversations with people. He finds out what they're thinking, what they're feeling, and he cares about what's going on in their lives. You know, when you see Jeremy walk down the street, he always talks to homeless people about their situation. If you're on a street stall with him, it doesn't matter if somebody's coming to him in a reasonable frame of mind and asking him something, or if they're completely obsessed about some terrible thing that's going on in their lives. He talks to them, he listens to them, and he promises to act on what he's learnt from them, and he takes that to Parliament. And frankly, a lot of the other politicians don't really understand what he's talking about because they're so distant from it themselves. And that's what marks Jeremy out, really, that he's part of the general population as well as being our representative in Parliament, and I want him to go on doing that. He's absolutely consistent in his moral values, and often it sounds as though he's come from a completely different place, because he speaks in a different tone of voice in Parliament. He speaks like a normal human being and just says what he thinks is right about, for example, the war in Gaza. You know, he's focusing on the people who actually live there. He's thinking about the children and the women and what their daily lives must be like under this terrifying situation.
And the demonstrations in support of the people of Palestine all around the world are getting bigger and bigger. The world has woken up to the plight of the Palestinian people.
The same thing, you know, he's been absolutely consistent about that. You know, he stood up against the Iraq war when he was under such pressure. Everybody was under such pressure in the Labour Party to conform to something that even the people perpetrating it knew was wrong. And he won't go along with that. But you never feel that he's just hectoring people. He understands the issues. He was thinking about the people who live in Iraq and what the prospects were for them, and he predicted very accurately what the outcome would be.
Thank you to every single person that's here today in the biggest ever political demonstration in the history of this country.
Jeremy, as an independent MP, would have the ability to represent us really powerfully in Parliament, and that our needs would not be compromised or translated into something that served his interests or his career in the process of getting between Islington North and Parliament, but that he really, really cares about the people who live in this constituency and will represent them, and I definitely will be voting for him. I've voted Labour my whole life, and I've taken my responsibility for voting seriously, but this year I will be voting for Jeremy as an independent, because I know that he will represent the people of this constituency